My fellow compassionate capitalists, a little worked up today, so I may be talking fast. Steve and Catherine here with Titan Impact Group. Catherine wants you to know she has her stilts on, but yet she's still a little short. She really hates going to the carnival. Got to be this tall to make the ride. Hey, you know what? Let's start the day off. Let's listen to the Liberty Bell. Let's have a little, the ring of freedom. Because today I'm pretty worked up because freedom is definitely under attack. And you know what? We here at Titan Impact Group have the solution to the economic oppression that is being forced by the government. But before we get into that, we do have some artifacts today in history. However, due to the sensitive nature of them and our politically correct and oversensitized and social media, we can't show you the artifacts that we have when it comes to Anne Frank, who her and her family were captured by the Nazis today due to a Dutch informer, August 4th, 1944. Another thing that happened, of course, but it was yesterday on August 3rd, 1934, was the fact that Hindenburg died, and therefore Adolf Hitler decided to combine the presidency and the chancellorship to make it one person. That would be him, and the Nazi Party and Hitler were in full reign. Now, in order to understand what was going on in Germany at that time, as far as the economy and hyperinflation, people would literally take wheelbarrows to work in order to get paid, because that's how much money they would have to bring back. We have pictures of kids, instead of playing with dolls, playing with stacks of money, because that was cheaper than toys. Restaurants would have to stop and announce the new food prices on the menu every 15 minutes. So this is the type of craziness that goes on whenever there's hyperinflation going on, brought on by government. Okay, and when that happens, people start to panic because there's this fear, and of course, Catherine's the word nerd, and she likes those acronyms. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. The thing is when you reach into a man's wallet, you do get his full attention, and a lot of times that's based on fear. He doesn't want you to take what he has rightfully earned. That is what our country is based on. The last time a king or dictator or anyone else tried to do that to us economically, we wrote them a little love letter right here and said, you know what, we'll fight for it, and if we win, we get to have our own country, we get to call the shots, we get to be the people who live upon their own merits. We will reap the rewards of our own work, and we're not dealing with this type of government hypocrisy. And whenever we do set up a new government, we will have a constitution, the law of the land, which specifically states what our liberties are, which can never be taken from us. And we will swear to that constitution to uphold and defend it, which goes back to, bringing everything full circle to what's happening today, and also, again, with the objects that we have that we couldn't necessarily show you due to sensitivity issues. When it comes to economics, that's how a black-haired, brown-eyed Austrian can become the supreme leader of a country whose the ultimate race, the superior race, would be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German. So again, when there's false evidence that appears real, common sense goes out the window, and fear is a very real thing. It's the number one way to rule over people. And so I'm going to hand it over to Catherine here in a little bit to talk more about that and to calm your nerves a little bit. Because we're going to do things the right way. The CDC today, August 4th, 2021, is day number one that the CDC announced that it was going to extend the eviction moratorium all the way through September now. Thus, totally just going on people's constitutional rights to actually own property and do with their property as they wish. If somebody has a a home that they're renting out or whatever for the past 18 months, the government said, I don't care if you get rent on that home or not, we're not going to make the person that you're renting to pay that. However, you're still going to have to pay if you have a mortgage on that, because that's the way that we're going to try to double talk and do the work. I know I've been going on a little bit long, but you know, it's interesting times we're living in. Yesterday, President Joe Biden announced that yes, the whole CDC ruling it doesn't hold constitutional muster. However, it feels like the right thing to do, so we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. So, with that, Catherine, please have this flawless segue into how Titan Impact Group can help calm the nerves of those who may be behind on mortgages.
So one of the things that we're really clear about is we leave every person, property, and community better than we found them. And how do we do that? We do that because we work with banks to buy up those mortgages that people haven't been paying for whatever reason, and we're actually have the negotiating ability to work with them so that they can get back on track, stay in their homes, so that we don't have all these foreclosures and empty communities. We want communities and families kept intact. And a part of why it's so important, why we do what we do, is it's the piece that when people understand history and what caused the Great Depression was that the banks didn't have money to lend out. And when banks don't have money to lend out, then businesses can't continue moving forward. The economy ends up coming to a grinding halt, and that's ultimately was a huge contributing factor to the Great Depression. So what do we need to do? We need to be a part of the solution, which is we buy up those non-performing notes from banks so that banks now have the ability to continue lending out more money to be able to keep the economy actually going and moving forward. So we're not about government handouts or bailouts. What we are about is the beautiful entrepreneurial spirit of this country. And so this country is built on the entrepreneurial spirit and small businesses. So by us doing what we can do to be able to keep the banks, keep that money flowing, keep commerce going, that's ultimately what's going to continue to forward this country, and that's what we're a part of. And what our investors are a part of. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. Again, leaving every person, property, and community better than we found them. So I'm clear that that's what the forefathers were committed to as well. So with that,
brave up, America. Things aren't as bad as what you're hearing. You've got people who are in charge economically that know what's going on, and they're not working under the guise of false evidence appearing real. The solutions that we have are real. They will work. It's Steve and Catherine with Titan Impact Group, and may you never awake from the American dream.